Snowflakes drifted softly under the pale winter sun, but inside his chest, everything felt cold and unforgiving. On Christmas morning, Armin Zavary, one of the youngest billionaires in the city, sat alone on a wooden bench outside a small downtown cafe, wearing a worn gray coat and scuffed shoes, waiting for a blind date who would never see his true worth. Before we step into what happened next, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected moments, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories. Your support keeps these heartfelt stories alive. Armin wasn't pretending to be poor for fun. He was exhausted from being admired for his penthouse, his luxury cars, and his name printed in business magazines. At 32, he had built a tech empire from scratch after growing up in a cramped apartment with a widowed mother who stitched clothes late into the night. Success had come fast, but sincerity had not. Every relationship he had attempted crumbled under the weight of his wealth. So this Christmas, he decided to try something radical. He asked his assistant to arrange a blind date, but insisted she reveal nothing about his fortune. He wanted someone to meet Armin, not the billionaire CEO. The cafe was modest, with frosted windows and a small wreath hanging on the door. The sunlight reflected off the melting snow, filling the street with a bright, hopeful glow. Armin checked his watch. Noon. A sleek white SUV pulled up, and out stepped a woman dressed elegantly in a cream wool coat and high-heeled boots. Her name was Kiara Maida, a social media influencer known for her glamorous lifestyle. She scanned the street, her eyes briefly landing on Armin before quickly looking away. When she finally approached, her smile faded almost instantly. She looked at his simple clothes, his old watch, the bench he sat on instead of waiting inside. The warmth in her eyes disappeared. They walked into the cafe, but the conversation never truly began. Kiara's gaze kept drifting toward the window, toward the passing luxury cars, toward her phone lighting up with holiday invitations. Within 15 minutes, she excused herself, claiming a family emergency. Armin watched through the glass as she stepped back into the SUV and drove away without once looking back. The rejection wasn't loud or dramatic, but it was sharp. It cut deeper than he expected. For a moment, he felt foolish for hopping. The cafe suddenly felt smaller, the cheerful Christmas decorations almost mocking him. He paid for the untouched coffee and stepped outside, letting the crisp daytime air sting his face. That's when he noticed her. A little girl no older than 7 stood near a small street vendor selling handmade ornaments. She wore a bright red sweater slightly too big for her and had 2 messy braids tied with green ribbons. Her name, he later learned, was Tara. She held a small paper bag and watched Armin with curious, gentle eyes. Unlike the others who hurried past him, she didn't see his coat or shoes first. She saw his sadness. Without hesitation, Tara walked up to him and held out something from her bag, a tiny wooden star ornament, hand-painted in gold. It wasn't perfect. The paint had smudges and one edge was slightly chipped, but it shimmered beautifully in the sunlight. She told him softly that her mother made them, and that Christmas was about giving something that makes someone smile. She said he looked like he needed one. Armin felt his throat tighten. No one had offered him anything without expecting something in return in years. He reached for his wallet, but Tara shook her head. It wasn't for sale. It was a gift. In that simple act, something shifted inside him. The sting of rejection began to dissolve, replaced by a warmth he hadn't felt since childhood. He knelt to her level and asked about her family. Tara explained that her mother worked long hours and that they sold ornaments every December to afford small gifts and school supplies. They didn't have much, but her mother always said that a kind heart was worth more than gold. Armin looked at the wooden star in his hand. For the first time in a long while, he felt seen, not as a billionaire, not as a failure on a blind date, but as a human being. Instead of going home to his empty penthouse, he walked with Tara to the vendor stand. He met her mother, Sanvi, a tired but dignified woman with paint-stained fingers and hopeful eyes. Armin bought every single ornament on the table, not out of pity, but out of respect for the craftsmanship and the love behind each piece. He quietly arranged for their small workshop to receive funding, ensuring they could expand their business without ever knowing it came from him. As the sun shone brighter over the snowy street, Armin realized something profound. The woman who rejected him had seen poverty and walked away. A little girl who had almost nothing saw sadness and chose to give. If this moment touched your heart, if you believe that true wealth lies in compassion, please like, share, and comment to let us know. Your engagement helps spread stories that remind us what really matters. And before we close, tell us in the comments, have you ever experienced a small act of kindness that changed your entire day?